Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. We'll chant Om once together. Synchronize the chanting of Om with your exhalation. Breathe in. Sahana vavatu, sahanau bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahai, tejasvinavaditamastu ma vitvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Gently open your eyes. We'll chant from verses 11 to 15 of chapter 3. Devan bhavayatanena,
Devan bhavayatanena,
te deva bhavayantu vaha,
te deva bhavayantu vaha,
parasparam bhavayantaha,
parasparam bhavayantaha,
Shreyah paramavapsyatha,
Shreyah paramavapsyatha,
Ishtan bhogan hi vo devaha,
Ishtan bhogan hi vo devaha,
dasyante yagna bhavitaha,
dasyante yajna bhavitaha,
taidattana pradayaibhyaha,
तैर्दत्तान प्रदायैभ्यः
yo bhunkte stena eva saha,
यो भुङ्क्तेस्तेन एव सः
yajnashishtashinah santaha,
यज्ञशिष्टाशिनः सन्तः
muchyante sarvakilbishaihi,
मुच्यन्ते सर्वकिल्बिषैः
bhunjate te tvagam papaha,
भुञ्जते ते त्वगं पापाः
ye pachantyatmakaranat,
ये पचन्त्यात्मकारणात्
annad bhavanti bhutani,
अन्नाद्भवन्ति भूतानि
Parjanyadanna sambhavah.
Parjanyadanna sambhavah.
Yajnat bhavati parjanyah.
Yajnat bhavati parjanyah.
Yajnah karma samudbhavah.
Yajnah karma samudbhavah.
Karma brahmodbhavam viddhi.
Karma brahmodbhavam viddhi.
Brahmakshara samudbhavam.
Brahmakshara samudbhavam.
Tasmat sarvagatam brahma.
Tasmat sarvagatam brahma.
Nityam yagne pratishtitam.
Nityam yagne pratishtitam.
Hari Om, and a very good day to all of you. So in the last few sessions, we have been seeing this principle of parasparam, how to use this principle of parasparam and do yagna in our life. So yagna is not merely a ritual to be done once in a while, but it is a principle which has to be followed every moment of your life. It is a way of living. Actually, spirituality itself is a way of living. When you divide certain actions as spiritual and certain actions as worldly, now you are confining spirituality only to a select few activities. And then what about those so-called worldly activities? They will bind you. So the moment you create a division in that way, then this whole sadhana, everything becomes very impractical. Because you are living in the world, you will have to do those so-called worldly activities. You cannot escape from them. So that is a very narrow interpretation or narrow understanding of our ancient wisdom, of what our yogis and siddhas have given us. So the ancient wisdom does not divide activities, merely activities, into spiritual and non-spiritual, that is worldly. It is your attitude which makes any action spiritual or non-spiritual. The same activity, if you have one attitude, it becomes tamasic. If you have another attitude, it becomes a rajasic action. If you have another attitude, it will become a sattvic action. It could be any action. Even this action of imparting this wisdom. Now you may say, oh, what a noble activity is this. Not necessarily. Supposing the speaker is speaking with a motive of wanting to get something out of it. That is the main motive. Then it becomes a rajasic action. Wanting to get something out of it may be gross in terms of wealth, or it may be something subtle in terms of name and fame also. If the speaker has this attitude of complete surrender to God, to the infinite, and then the same action is done, that is of imparting this wisdom, then it becomes a spiritual activity. It is the same thing with respect to sadhana also. If you do sadhana in order to destroy somebody else, for example, to cause harm to someone else, that becomes tamasic. It's a tamasic action that will not cause spiritual evolution. If you do your sadhana with an idea of merely getting some material benefits, nothing more, then it becomes a rajasic action. But if you do the same sadhana with the idea of ultimately merging with the infinite, growing spiritually, and also looking after your material needs, then it becomes a spiritual activity. So the sadhana being the same, depending on your attitude, it will either become tamasic, rajasic, or sattvic. So if you want to really become spiritual, now first stop this artificial divisions which your mind is creating. It is creating artificial divisions all the time. Why? Because an untrained mind is always judgmental. Don't judge others, especially those who are more spiritually evolved than you. You will definitely make a mistake. Similarly, don't judge yourself also. Assessment is different, judgment is different. When you judge, you stop any further thinking. You become biased. So when your understanding about spirituality is not deep, then you will put these external conditions in order to judge. Many people may be doing so-called spiritual activities on a daily basis, but none of those activities will give them the spiritual evolution if their fundamental attitude is wrong. So to say that I'm going to a temple, I'm going to any place of worship once a week, that is okay. Why are you going? What is your motive? So our masters always look at the motive, at the bhavana behind it. Some people go to a place of worship just to while away their time. Some people go to admire the architecture. Some people go to for socializing. It's a regular feature, a group of people, they meet And what is it that they discuss? Not spiritual things, not about God or the infinite. So for every activity, if you build the right type of attitude, which is what we are seeing in the Sattvic portion here, where he says, the virtuous who eat the remnants of sacrifice are freed from all faults. So as I told you, this is a law of cause and effect. So when you perform actions in a particular way, that is going to give certain effects. That is what he means by the remnants of sacrifice. So when you perform any activity in a yagna way, then what you will get is something wonderful. He says you will get freedom, freedom from all faults. Muchyante sarva kilbishaihi. You all did that homework which I gave you last week to just read these phrases with that bhavana. It creates a powerful impact. See, when someone conducts a management seminar and says, no, you should write your goal, keep it in front and remind us, then you think it is something special. Oh, how great. He has given some practice, let me do it. But these things have been given by our yogis and they have been used extensively by our yogis. What are those things which can be used to influence the mind in a positive way? So symbols, rituals, yantras, so many things have come about only with the idea of influencing the mind in a positive way and uplifting the mind, uplifting the consciousness to merge with the infinite. So yagna shishtashinah santah muchyante sarva kilbishaihi. They are freed from all faults. So the moment you understand that yagna is a principle which can be applied to any activity, that becomes so practical. You can do yagna at home. You can do yagna in your office. You can do yagna anywhere. You can do yagna when you are interacting with someone. It could be your spouse, it could be your child, it could be your parents. By applying this principle of parasparam, so karma yoga is not a separate activity which you need to do. Some people ask, sir, what service activity should I take up? What do you mean service activity? Any activity done with a seva bhav, with a bhavana of service, becomes a service activity. You don't need to do something special for that. If you cannot be kind to the person who is in front of you, if you cannot give love to the person who is in front of you, how can you give love to someone else? Generally, the terms used are society. See, that is all a very generalized term. You should start with this and grow. He will also be using, he'll be saying loka sangraha, means functioning for the welfare of the whole universe. But that comes through proper sadhana. When you apply these principles in a sincere way in your day-to-day experiences, only then these things will become practical. Otherwise, they are all, it's like poetry, they are all very nice words. You'll just be using such jargons in your life, but practically you will not be following anything. So you should introspect. So this is the difference between a sadhak and a person who is just merely gaining knowledge. A person who is merely gaining knowledge will be very happy to gather more points, and then he will pick up some other books, he will see this, he will see that, and he'll make a compare, oh, this is said there also, that is said here also. Whereas a person who is a sadhak, now he will not have time for all that. Because whatever is being given, for example, every Sunday, what is being given, so much is there. I'm not talking in terms of the merely in terms of the number of points which are being given. That itself is a vast knowledge which is being given to you. But apart from that, even if you take up one point for you to take it up, reflect in your life, how to apply it in your day-to-day living, day-to-day experiences, when you start thinking on those lines, that will keep you busy throughout the week. Okay, I am doing cooking every day. How do I apply this yagna in cooking? Yajbhavena yagna. What should be my attitude when I'm cooking? Okay, I'm in the office, or I'm sitting in front of the computer and working. How do I convert this into yagna? How do I apply this principle of parasparam in my activity? When you start thinking on those lines, then you are becoming a sadhak. So, 2-3 basic principles have been covered when these verses have been explained to you. One is the principle of parasparam. Parasparam means give and take, inflow and outflow. So when we talk of give and take, there is a tendency for the mind to restrict it only to relationships, but no. Any kind of inflow and outflow. Then the karmic deficit and the karmic surplus. So karmic deficit or karmic debts, the word is karma rina. The opposite of that is karmic surplus. I didn't give you any Sanskritam word for that till now for a particular reason, because first I wanted you to understand this principle in depth. See, the word for surplus in this context is adhikya. So when we say karma rina, the opposite of that is karma adhikya, which is karmic surplus. Now, why I didn't give that to you straight away is, see, the word karma adhikya can be understood in two ways. It only means karma, adhikya means surplus, excess. You can understand it in terms of excess of karmas. Karma rina is very clear. But when it comes to karma adhikya, now you can take it as more karmas. That is why in our scriptures, what our sages have used, the phrase which they have used is not actually even karma adhikya. They have used the word punyadikya, punya adhikya. What is punya? Punya is nothing but the effect of good karmas, good results. So they carefully use the word punya adhikya so that there is no misunderstanding. But here, since we were using these terminologies, karmic deficit and karmic surplus, suddenly to use punya adhikya may not exactly go along with the flow. So I was waiting till you understand the full principle. Then now these words can be used liberally. So the word karma adhikya is a neutral word. It can either mean increase of karmas or it can be a surplus created because of good karmas. That is what is punya adhikya. So here we will use the word karma adhikya. No issues. See what is there in these words? What is more important is for you to understand the principle behind these words. So karma rina means debts, karmic debts. Karma adhikya means karmic surplus. So basically our yogis say that you should go on increasing your karmic surplus. This will give you prosperity in the world. It will give you relative peace of mind. But merely this will not give you self-realization or God realization. The karmic deficit will create papa, negative results. The karmic surplus will create punya, positive results. But God or the infinite is beyond papa and punya, beyond bad and good. Why do we say God is beyond bad and good? There can be no goodness without badness, there can be no badness without goodness. They are relative terms related to each other. How will you define goodness? Lack of badness. How will you define badness? Lack of goodness. They are always interrelated. So since one cannot exist without the other, they are relative concepts, relative principles. But God or the infinite is the absolute. So that is why they said you should rise beyond papa and punya and merge with the infinite. That is the practice of higher karma yoga. So when you create karmic surplus, you will get a lot of prosperity, abundance in life. Your good things will start happening. That is, you will start attracting wonderful things into your life. So that is very useful to complete your experiences, provided you are objective and you keep the ultimate purpose of God realization in your focus. Now as you keep completing your experiences, now you should do the higher karma yoga, which is dropping that ego of taking and giving, keeping self-realization or God realization as your goal. So at the relative level, you keep creating the karmic surplus, but also do the higher sadhana, which is called nishkama sadhana. Sadhana without any purpose, means without any worldly purpose, just doing sadhana for sadhana's sake. When you do that, that will elevate you to the highest. So, when you do the lower karma yoga, which is creating karmic surplus, it will give you everything in life. When you do the higher karma yoga, which is dropping off your ego completely, that will give you the ultimate experience of self-realization. So that is why we say that practicing this principle of yagna will give you material success, that is worldly success, and it will also give you spiritual success. So the virtuous who eat the remnants of sacrifice, so one who have performed yagna in life, means applied the principle of yagna in each and every aspect of life. Such people who eat the remnants of sacrifice, means who enjoy the benefits, they are freed from all faults. So this is the principle, the karmic deficit, then you have karmic surplus, and then going beyond karmas, detaching your consciousness from karmas. Now you may ask me, so why should I create karmic surplus? Even if I am having karmic debts, why not I do sadhana and straight away, merge with the infinite? Your question would be right. If you ask that question is a perfectly legitimate question. The answer to that is yes only. You don't require karmic surplus to grow spiritually. If you are able to get into that state of objectivity and detachment, even if when you are having karmic deficit, you can attain self-realization or God realization. But all this is on paper. Practically, can you do that? When you are going through a lot of suffering in life, the mind is completely attached to that. When you are creating a lot of karmic deficits, now that is very unconducive for you to do sadhana. Unconducive. It's not that you cannot do sadhana, but you will have to fight against so many forces because your mind will be disturbed. Whereas when you create a karmic surplus in your life, your mind will be relatively peaceful, and that peaceful mind is very conducive for you to do sadhana. It is conduciveness which is important. See, for a seed to grow into a tree, you require a conducive soil. Per se, the soil does not directly produce a tree, but it is extremely conducive for a seed to become a tree. So it is a seed which is the cause, tree is the effect. Similarly, your sadhana is a cause, self-realization is the effect. But what are those factors which are helpful, which will make things very conducive for you to do sadhana? We also have to see that. See, our yogis were very practical. So they said when you create a lot of karmic surplus in your life, your mind will calm down. It will not be constantly tossed around. Your mental agitations will reduce. So that becomes very conducive for you to do your sadhana. So that is why they have classified creating a karmic surplus as also karma yoga only, the lower portion, the lower part of karma yoga. But if you are merely doing good actions without any higher purpose, now you will only be caught up in this cycle, in this realm of punya and papa, which is what they technically called as heaven and hell. They said when you acquire a lot of punyas, you will go to heaven. When you acquire a lot of papa, you will go to hell. You don't need to think about some geographical place or some higher dimensional places as hell and heaven. Let's not get into all that. Right now here, if your karmas are negative, you're going to go through hell. Means suffering. You'll go through a lot of mental suffering and even any other form of suffering. If your karmas are positive, you will create a lot of positive energy. You will go through heaven. Fundamentally happy, you will be happy, and there in hell you will be unhappy. So this is a very simple method which they are giving you, using which you can easily grow spiritually. Otherwise, if you say, no, right from this moment till self-realization, you will have to go on suffering. But keep doing sadhana. How long are you going to maintain your consistency? So on paper it's possible, but practically your mind will give up at some point of time. So yogis considered that factor, and they gave this path through which you can keep on bettering your life, you can attain worldly success, and you can also attain inner growth, spiritual success. So when it came to the karmic debts, 5 types of karmic debts were listed out, no? The Bhutarina, Manushyarina, Pitrurina, Devarina and Rishirina, and the 5 corresponding yagnas. So this is going to create a karmic debt. Now when you perform those 5 yagnas, that is going to create karmic surplus in all these areas: the Bhuta Yagna, Manushya Yagna, Pitru Yagna, Deva Yagna and Brahma Yagna. So Bhuta means all the creatures, Manushya means all the human beings, Pitru means our ancestors, Deva means the higher forces of nature, and then Rishi represents the gurus, your guru and all the great masters right from beginning, which is the Guru Mandala, the Guru Parampara. So there also, see, don't get caught up with the words so much. Now I did mention Bhutas, creatures, Manushas, all human beings. And when it came to Pitru, I said ancestors and also those people whom you are relating with now. Now, if you go by the strict definition of Pitrus, it only means ancestors. So then why are you including others also, sir, those with whom we are moving with right now? See, it is not about the words again. If you want, you can put that category in Manushya. You can strictly say Pitru means only ancestors. Manushya means human being. Those human beings I know, those human beings I don't know, and those human beings I know. And then third category is those human beings with whom I am relating in a close way. You can bring that in Manushya Yagna also. Or you can bring that principle in, with respect to Bhuta Yagna also. It is very interesting. You can split it up. Bhuta means all objects and beings. So you can include even human beings in bhutas, all the creatures. We are also ultimately a living creature in this universe. And then in Manushya Yagna, you can say that refers to those human beings from all the bhutas with whom I am relating in a close way. And then in Pitru Yagna, when we talk about Pitrus, you can say all our ancestors. But whether you put it this way or that way, I gave you three ways of putting it. No, you may find some other ways of placing all this. But if you really think about it, does it really matter? What is the fundamental principle which they are trying to communicate? The basic principle is wishing the welfare of everything and everyone. So, of all the things, objects and beings, of those people whom you're moving closely with, of all the past people, our ancestors, because we have come from them, the higher forces of nature, and then my Guru and all the holy masters who contributed towards this ancient wisdom. This is the fundamental principle. So, when you understand the principle properly, thereafter, even if the words are interchanged and all that, it will not matter to you. You will still hit at the core point. This is something very important because lot of arguments take place in the spiritual circles regarding these interpretations. Does Manushya mean only Manushya means human being? Can we put human beings in Bhuta or Pitru? It means this. So much of energy gets wasted in these kinds of arguments. So as a sadhak, what you need to do is go beyond all these words. See, use these words to understand the basic principles. Then go beyond these words and stick to the principles. And once you stick to the basic principles, there will be no confusion whatsoever. So when you do these 5 types of yagnas, you are freed from all sins, kilbisham. So last time I gave you several dimensions of the word kilbisham. Kilbisham means sin. Kilbisham means false. It means offense, injury, guilt, disease, sickness. Fundamentally, see, in the medical field, when they say disease, they mean disease of the body. But in spirituality, when they use the word kilbisham, they mean disease of the body, disease of the mind, karmic disease. Everything can be called disease because basically what is a disease? Dissonance in ease is called a disease. So if you are having debts in terms of your money, you can call it as a financial disease. That also will fit into kilbisham. If you are having a lot of guilt, that is one kind of psychological disease. So it's a beautiful word. And then he has added this word sarvam. That's what I was explaining to you last week. Sarvam means all, whole. He is completing it so that there is no room for any doubt in your mind. See, one of the most important qualities which you should develop is faith. The actual word is Shraddha. Shraddha doesn't actually mean faith, it means much more than that. The self-confidence, the faith, the ability to be consistent in your efforts till you achieve the end. Everything put together is Shraddha. There is no one simple definition for Shraddha. We are just simply saying faith. In your path, when you're doing your sadhana, whenever something negative happens in your life or when some problem comes which is beyond your capacity to handle, the mind tends to lose its self-belief. Mind tends to lose that faith in sadhana also. That is where you need to be careful. See this, when he says sarva kilbishaihi, he says, don't worry, let it be any issue. This will give you the solution. So as you keep doing your sadhana and when you get established in this higher wisdom, you will build enormous faith in yourself and faith in the higher. And that is a very beautiful tool to take you to that experience of self-realization. Once you experience something, you don't need to have faith. See, faith is in something which you're not yet known or experienced. But once you have experienced, then there is no necessity for faith because it becomes your experience itself. So this is symbolized by Lord Hanuman giving Rama's ring to Sita, who was sitting in Ashokavana. Just imagine, all alone, surrounded by all the Rakshasas. Every day, Ravana was pressurizing her. She didn't even know whether Rama had found about her whereabouts, that is who had kidnapped her and where she, nothing, no information whatsoever. And every day Ravana was telling her that the Lanka is so powerful, nobody can enter. So where is your husband going to find you and come here? So he was discouraging her. But she kept to her sadhana, to her tapas. And when she kept on at it, what happened? One day Hanuman came. And Hanuman gave her that ring which Rama had given him to give to her. And when she saw that ring, that is the Shraddha which she developed. Her Shraddha only intensified. So that incident represents the establishment of a sadhak in the quality of Shraddha. So when you keep on doing your sadhana, initially a lot of obstacles will come, doubts will creep up in your mind. That's why we are having these sessions every Sunday. Otherwise, there is no necessity for these sessions every Sunday, Just once it can be told to you, Yoga Sankirtan is there, take that material, do your sadhana every day, goodbye. See you at the infinite. But how many people will be able to do that? Very difficult to maintain the momentum. So when you keep on doing your sadhana, at some point you will get that confidence, that faith, that shraddha in yourself, in the path and in the goal. Because once Hanuman came and gave the ring, thereafter Sita knew that Rama is going to come. It's only a question of time. So that higher experience will be obtained by a sadhak, by a sincere sadhak. So he is trying to build that shraddha in you, and that is why he says sarva kilbishaihi. Don't worry, which means just put your blinkers on and keep doing your sadhana. Everything else will fall at its place. So before we move on to the next verse, there is one more important principle here which he is giving. We'll just see that and then we'll go to the next verse. That is this word muchyante. Muchyante means freed. So these great people, the wonderful sadhaks, they are completely freed from all faults. So the word muchyante means freed. So derived from the word much. Actually, what is interesting is there is a very deep sadhana message which he is giving even in that word. Just for argument's sake, let us say you have not understood anything till now. I hope that is not the case, but just for fun's sake we can say, you have not understood anything till now. What is yagna? You don't understand. What is parasparam, karmic, that's karmic. All these things what shall I do, sir? Don't worry. If you just understand this one thing, muchyante, you will grow spiritually. The word which is used is so powerful. So muchyante means freed from all faults. That is what he's saying. But it derived from the word much. Much means to set free, to release, to let go. So muchyante means to become free, but it's derived from the word much, which means to set free, to set the other person free, to let go, to release. So what is the message there? The way to freedom is by letting go. You can become free when you set the other person free. So freedom is not obtained from somewhere. You have gone and you have got yourself bound to something. Now, how can you attain freedom? By simply letting go, he says. See, it's a very, very powerful principle which is being given. That's why I told you, even if you have not understood anything else, at least understand this. In life, the mind tends to keep on complaining, saying, this is happening to me, this negative thing is happening to me, this person is disturbing me, that situation is disturbing me. Now what he's saying is, there is a way to become free of all these. How? Simply by letting go, which means the implication is they are not holding you, you are only holding on to them. The world is not binding you. The world is not holding you. You are only holding the world. See, it gives back the power to you. This is the beauty of karma yoga. The law of karma empowers you. Sir, this person came and insulted me, and because of that my mind is highly agitated. Now what do these yogis say? No. It is no doubt true that the person insulted you and tried to disturb you. But your disturbance is not because of that person's insult. It is because you are holding, that is when I say you, I mean your mind. Your mind is holding on to that insult. Therefore you are not free. You are so agitated. So what is the solution? Let go of that, release that. I am giving you these kinds of practical examples so that it becomes very easy for you to understand this principle. You know, there is a story. Actually, this is not a story. This is based on a real incident only. See how there was a jar with a narrow neck, a kind of a vessel with a very narrow neck, and a lot of peanuts were kept in that vessel. So a monkey which came, it wanted the peanuts. So it put its hand inside the jar, inside that vessel. Now, once it put its hand inside the vessel and it picked up all the peanuts. Now its hand was full of the peanuts. Now since it was a very narrow neck, the vessel had a very narrow neck, it was unable to take out its hand. Because when it grabbed all the peanuts, the overall the area which it was covering became more. So it was unable to take out the hand. And it was struggling. It was struggling to become free. The more it tried to take out the hand, the more painful it was. So it went and banged the vessel on a hard surface. It tried to hit the floor, this, that. So many methods it tried. But the monkey could not take its hand out. Then out of sheer disgust or even it became very tired, so it just dropped all the efforts and dropped the peanuts also. And the moment it dropped the peanuts, it was able to easily take out its hand and it ran away. So this incident has been given as an example by many saints, saying that is how your life is also. When you hold on, when you are attached mentally, we are talking about the mind here, not about physical possessions. Physically you have to be in the world. You can have whatever possessions you want. But if you allow your mind to get attached, that is symbolized by the action of holding on to those peanuts. Now, the monkey was never able to free its hand, and the moment it let go, it became free. So, every problem which you are facing in life today is your own making, the making of the creation of your own mind. Now, kindly don't get offended by this or irritated by this. These masters are not trying to blame you. They are not saying you are to be blamed. That is not the spirit. They are only saying, understand that you have only created it, then it makes you so powerful because you can come out of that easily. It is in your hands only. As long as you're thinking that I didn't create this, something else is creating it. It could be some situation or some person. You are powerless. Which means that person has to stop insulting, only then I will be happy. Is that under your control? That situation has to change, only then I will be happy. Certain situations don't change so easily. Then are you going to always carry that stress with you? So, contacting this world, being in the world and not being in the world mentally. That is the art. You see, you need to learn and master this art of letting go. In a relationship, if you are attached, you will suffer. You need to give that freedom, that space. And when you give the freedom to the other person, the beauty is you will also get your freedom. So work backwards. If anything agitates you today, you can apply the simple principle of much. What am I attached to? Why am I agitated? Even if you get too attached to your goal and you become result oriented, you will suffer. So if you understand this root word much, it is actually giving you the sadhana to be practiced, the process through which you can become completely free. How? You become free by giving freedom, by letting go. What an amazing construction here, See, this is the beauty of our masters. They are giving such subtle principles, and in case you don't understand anything, no problem, at least you hang on to this, If you think about it, this word much actually gives you the whole wisdom if you go deep into it. Because in that lies a secret of your sadhana, in that lies a secret of developing objectivity, detachment, in that lies merging with the infinite and attaining total freedom. So what does a yogi focus on? He does not focus on changing the world. See, the first thing is to become happy, Changing the world, correcting the world, all that is dependent on so many factors. You can do it up to a point. Wherever you can do it. But why should you suffer and do that? You should be joyful first. So how do you get that joy? How do you get that happiness? By merging with the infinite. Now how do you merge with the infinite? Your consciousness is stuck here. It says let go. So I did tell you the third dimension of much, it means release. So if you notice in all the empowerment programs and in the healing program, whenever we do the intensive sadhana, I have always mentioned about releasing whatever negative energy which you have stored within yourself. It is based on this principle of much only. So when you do your Yoga Sankirtan sadhana on a daily basis, lot of thoughts will come up, lot of emotions will come up, many incidents which have happened in your life in the past, they all may come up. Your future expectations, they will all come up as pictures. Different kinds of emotions, sorrow, joy, anger, things which you have stored within yourself. Certain things you may remember, certain things you don't even know where it's coming from. It may be coming from some past births also. So all those things will come out. Don't get bogged down by all that. What should you do? Just release them. That is why that sadhana, the energy has been, that sadhana material has been energized. So all you need to do is just witness them and keep doing the deep breathing. The higher Shakti, the higher energy and the Guru Shakti will help you to release that from your system. So when you're attached to your children, you will suffer. The children also will not listen to you. Sir, does it mean now I should not move with my children? No, that is not what they are saying. You should learn to be objective. You should learn to give space. If you are attached to wealth, you will suffer. The same wealth will become a source of stress for you. But if you maintain detachment, the same wealth will become a source of joy for you. You can freely enjoy anything you want in life as long as you don't bind your consciousness and mind to that. So today already the consciousness is bound. The mind has already gotten into a state of attachment to so many things. So how do you get out of that? That is where the third dimension, releasing all that through sadhana. So this process you will only have to do. So if you follow this principle of much, which is to let go, what will be the result? Muchyante. You will all be freed. Here he is putting it in plural, muchyate. You will be completely freed from all sins. Sarva kilbishaihi. So, to read the second line first, but those impure ones who cook for the sake of themselves eat sin, that we saw. But the virtuous who eat the remnants of sacrifice are freed from all faults because they are willing to let go. See, the problem is you are not willing to let go of those factors which are causing issues. You want to keep your ego, but you don't want any problems. That is not possible. You want to keep your stubbornness, but you want good results. It's not possible. You want to keep your jealousy. You don't want to let go of that, but you want calmness of mind, peace of mind. It's not possible. When you learn to let go of all the negative factors, the negative energy, that is those factors which are creating karmic deficits in your life, then what will be the result? You will become free. You will attain freedom. And if you take it to the absolute level, you will attain absolute freedom. Okay, so with this we will go to the next verse. We will start verse number 14. Annad bhavanti bhutani.
Annad bhavanti bhutani.
Parjanyadanna sambhavah.
Parjanyadanna sambhavah.
Yagnyad bhavati parjanyah.
यज्ञात् भवति पर्जन्यः
यज्ञः कर्म समुद्भवः
यज्ञः कर्मसमुद्भवः
अन्नात् भवन्ति भूतानि. From food arise beings. Annat. Anna means food. Bhutani means all the beings. So from food arise beings. Annat bhavanti bhutani. Parjanyat anna sambhavaha. From rain arises food. So from food arise beings, then from rain arises food. Yajnat bhavati parjanyah. From yajna, sacrifice, arises rain. Yajnah karma samudbhavaha. Sacrifice arises out of action. That is, sacrifice means yajna. From where is yajna coming? From action. So, from food arise beings, from rain arises food, from yajna arises rain, and from karma, the various actions, arises yajna. Now, if you merely read the translation, you will not understand the head or tail of what this is. See, this is a typical language of our Shastras, of our yogis. They always spoke in terms of riddles only. See, this is true with respect to any scripture. Some portions the message will be direct, but there will be many portions where subtle messages, indirect messages will be given, and that will be given in the form of riddles. You need to unravel that, the mystery. Even if you go to Zen Buddhism, short stories, you cannot understand the head or tail of it. If you come to our Puranas, oh, what does all that mean? If you see the verse system written by the great Tamil Siddhas, there is a tradition, 18 Siddhargal, 18 Siddhas tradition is there. And if you read what they have written, it is all in the form of riddles. If you take it directly, it will not make any sense. That's why we require the yogic approach to penetrate and understand what they are talking about, and also see the relevance of that with respect to our sadhana. That is the most difficult part, no? Even if you unravel some meaning and if you understand, if you get a glimpse of what they are saying, what is its relevance to your life? How is it going to be useful to you? How is it going to be useful to you in your sadhana? That is a question, no? So this is one such verse where he is giving an agricultural metaphor, and through this metaphor he is conveying something very deep. when we go into the depth of this verse, you will be amazed. But if you merely read the translation, what is it? From food arise beings, from rain arises food, from sacrifice arises rain, and sacrifice arises out of action. So this is a metaphor. This is what we call as coded language. Only a yogi will be able to decode the subtler messages. A mere intellectual analysis is of no use. Even if you know the Sanskritam language, it's of no use here. Because the moment we use a metaphor, when the messages are in coded form, then the language does not matter. It is how to penetrate, how to through meditation, through nididhyasana, how one can penetrate and eke out those hidden messages. That is what is important. So basically, in this verse, he is giving you the mechanism of the process of how yagna can give you prosperity, whether it is in material prosperity or whether it's spiritual prosperity. See, all along we were seeing what is yagna, how the yagna can be practiced in life, what are the different facets of yagna, what are the principles governing yagna, like we saw the principle of parasparam, the karmic debts, the karmic surplus, so many things we saw. And it was also mentioned, if you remember in one of the previous verses where he started yagna, he said, may you prosper. Do you remember that verse where it talked about the Creator? With this yagna, may this be the fulfiller of all your desires. Ishta Kama Dukh. Do you all remember, or have you forgotten? Just a few verses back, no? If you have forgotten, you can, after this session, you can just go to that verse and just read that and see. So it was mentioned right at the beginning, may you prosper, may you propagate. And then the different aspects of yagna were given, you should do sadhana, all that was done. Now in this verse, he is now giving you the mechanism. How does the practice of yagna, how will it give prosperity? How can you prosper using yagna? The exact mechanism is being given here. That's what. If you read the translation, you will not get the deeper message. But we are going to use the yogic approach and decode this verse. And as we are going through the decoding process, it will become very interesting for you, because it contains very deep messages. So in this verse, he is not only going to tell you the mechanism of how yagna can give prosperity, he is also going to tell you the source of yagna, from where yagna itself came. Now, the most interesting part is, once you understand this process, once you understand this mechanism, this can be applied at any level. This is actually, we can say that it is covering some of the basic principles of the science of materialization. You can materialize anything you want by using the principles from this verse. At any level, it can be applied at the macrocosmic level, that is at the country level, at the society level. It can also be applied at the microcosmic level, smaller units, like it can be applied in a family, it can be applied in an office, that is in a work environment, and also at the very microcosmic level, that is at the individual level also. Internally also you can apply the same process. So whether you want material prosperity, whether you want prosperity or success, we can say success and growth with respect to your relationships and family, or your work, you want to grow in your work, whether you want to achieve that, or whether you want you want the world to be peaceful. If these principles are followed, we can bring about a tremendous change in society. Or you want to bring about some change within yourself. You want to create certain habits, new habits, positive habits, on whatever terms, some self-development, self-purification, the same principles can be applied. So that is the beauty of this verse. These principles which he is giving here, they can be applied at any level, macrocosmic, microcosmic, individual level, internal level. It can be applied to get material prosperity. It can be applied to get spiritual growth. We can call it a spiritual prosperity also. So the application becomes so wide. That is how this wisdom empowers you. We will see the basic principles, because when you master the higher principles of the science of materialization, now that will give you enormous powers. But we will start with the basics. So we will go into the depth of this verse. We'll begin probing. We'll go into more depth from the next session. But as a homework, what you can do is you can just read this and ponder over it. That is, just see whether it makes any sense to you. Apply your mind, apply your intellect and see. Don't refer to other books, or don't do your internet search and try to find what is it, because each one will give his or her opinion. See, here we are using the yogic approach, and directly we are getting into the core principles in its purest form given by our yogis and masters. So it is only through sadhana, through reflection, through meditation that you can get connected with the energy of these verses. And also see the construction, it's very interesting. From food arise being, from rain arise, that is, he has used the reverse construction. The right way would be starting from the last word. From action comes sacrifice, from sacrifice comes rain, then from rain arises food, and from food arise beings. That will be the correct flow, right? But he is now going reverse. From food arise beings, from rain arises food, from sacrifice arises rain, and sacrifice arises from action. So when you read that verse, I want you to observe what happens to your mind. This reverse technique has been used. This is a powerful yogic technique. I'll explain that in the next session. What is the sadhana principle we can derive from that also we'll see. But you just read the translation as it is and see how he is creating a reverse flow. Instead of from the cause to the effect, he is moving from the effect to the cause. So just read that and see what is happening to your mind, whether you're able to follow it easily, or are you finding it a little difficult because of this reverse flow. If so, why is he doing that? It will give you a lot of insights. Of course, in the next session we'll see all that, but prior to that, if you do the small homework and come, it will make it interesting, because when you put in your efforts and all that, and then when this wisdom is given, you will feel so excited and inspired, and the more inspired you are, the better you will be able to absorb and practice these principles. Okay, so now we'll do the nididhyasana meditation. Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. With every breath, I am becoming more and more relaxed. Feel the divine vibrations. With every breath, I am going deeper and deeper into myself. beyond my physical body, beyond my emotions, beyond my thoughts, lies my real self. My higher self is infinite and divine. From this moment onwards, I choose to practice the principle of yagna in each and every aspect of my life. I am Swayam Prakashit, self-illuminating. Offer your gratitude to God Supreme. Offer your gratitude to your Guru and all the holy masters. wriggle your fingers, your toes, open and close your palms a few times. Rub your palms together to create a warmth. And cup your eyes with your palms. Gently rub your eyes, your cheeks, forehead, the top of your head, the back of your head, your neck, and slowly open your eyes. Welcome back. So we had a very useful session today. A lot of practical applications have been given. See, the more we get into this, the more clarity you will develop. This principle of yagna cannot be understood at one go. Why are we spending so much of time? Slowly, you can gain the whole wisdom. So week after week, whatever points are being given to you, you should do your part, reflect on those points. And when you write down those points and submit, definitely I will go through them. And when I'm seeing those points, I will also be scanning your energy. And if there is any imbalance, I'll be sending the healing also. So you should play your part. Otherwise, you can just keep on going or simply hearing these things and then continuing with your work. It shouldn't be like that. Tremendous efforts should be put from your side. Okay? So I'll see you in the next session. Thank you very much. Hari Om.